What is going on, guys? We are back with another video, and I see the Packers trade up, and now this has absolutely got to be wide receiver. After all the things we've seen with the media, and the fact that, like, unless they're going to trade up for a tackle, which I suppose is maybe possible, it's got to be wide receiver. You know, there's no way you're going to see guys like Watson or Pickens or some of the other guys, you know, Sky Moore near the end of the first round. It's just simply not going to happen. And I think it's just a clear-cut choice that they're going to go wide receiver with the trade up. They move with Minnesota, who is now moved 2 times in the division, which is like, are they recording a rebuild? But of course, potentially giving up 2 wide receivers, which they don't really have good cornerbacks to cover these guys. So it's almost like they're hurting themselves majorly. The Vikings go from an amazing draft of recent years to just, I mean, once again, it's trading down is not the worst thing in a class like this specifically, but they're loading up their division. You know, if you're loading up you're trading with someone else, who cares? But you're loading up the division potentially. Although it is Green Bay, you never know. Once again, you know the drill. I will come back to you when the pick is coming up. And I had it. Why did I look at Twitter? I mean, I don't mind, but I had it spoiled for myself. I could have like done some fake freaking reaction. I had it spoiled for myself. That one dude, what's his name? I think it's like Ari on Twitter. Dude is killing it. Like everything, like he just spoils everything. Like even day one, he was spoiling like, you know, picks, like 2 picks before they were announced. But Christian Watson, one of the guys I absolutely wanted. You know, you're looking at a guy like, you know, MVS, you really wanted him back. He was a super great deep threat for Green Bay. I mean, you literally got about as close as you're going to get to Christian, to MVS. However, the difference is Christian Watson definitely has a little bit more agility to him. MVS was literally a straight line runner. Watson does have a little bit of agility. Of course, almost arguably even a better athlete. 6'4.5", I think. He's got pretty freaking big hands, and I mean, just the guy that you would expect to dominate. This, I do worry a little bit, though, is the way, the Packers had Equanimous St. Brown, kind of built similarly like that. You know, Christian Watson kind of used in college a little bit the way that we tried to use Equanimous, but of course Equanimous couldn't stay healthy. He's obviously on the Bears now. I still wish him the best, even on the Bears. Like I think it would be cool to see him do well, but Christian Watson, obviously just a super beast deep threat. I wonder how Green Bay is going to line up, though. I don't feel like it's going to be clear-cut, you know, like what we had with Devontae, obviously the clear-cut X. I feel like there's going to be a lot of players changing roles. It's going to be an interesting offense. And once again, you still got to remember there's still time in the draft. Of course, that draft trade, I imagine, took up maybe even both second-round picks in, you know, later in the second, which, fair enough. You end up with a wide receiver, I suppose. I do worry, though. We'll see how the board falls. You can't guarantee anything because you look around and, you know, there's some teams that obviously need wide receiver there, like a lot of them. I've messaged someone saying that there's a very good chance that's what Chicago would want is Watson. Their pick is probably going to be a wide receiver, maybe Pickens if he's still there. Kind of hoping he's not. But obviously, Green Bay finally gets a wide receiver. Day one, you know, we already talked about it. Quay Walker, a very versatile guy. I think people look at the position and they don't actually look at the player, and they just think, oh, they just grabbed a coverage linebacker. They got Devondre, they got Chris Barnes, but the man's going to move around. He's absolutely going to be playing a bit of edge. He's going to do a lot. He's going to do a lot for Green Bay, and I think with Devontae Wyatt, who's just going to be huge for Kenny Clark, I really do think this is a top 5 defense minimum, and now you add that super speedy, athletic, physical freak with huge hands. Once again, the catching ability, it's a little questionable. Obviously, at times it seems like, you know, he really does feel like MVS. He has that MVS to him, but I think he has a bit higher of a ceiling. Those huge hands, surely. With Green Bay's ability to develop wide receivers, he's going to have a really good chance to become a superstar in the league. And, I mean, it's a very exciting pick. Would I have went with Pickens instead? Possibly. Once again, it's hard to say, like, I would have maybe waited a little bit. I think I would have waited for one wide receiver to drop. I would have waited for either Watson, Pickens, or Sky Moore to drop. Then I would have probably jumped the gun and then traded up. But at that point, you just don't know. Like, you see, let's say, George Pickens goes to the Vikings because, there's been talks that they maybe want a wide receiver. Thielen's getting older. They go wide receiver. Then the next team is like, well, we kind of want wide receiver now that team just took one. And then the next team that, you can't really, maybe you're the team to start the run on wide receivers. You just can't guarantee anything in the draft, but trading up obviously does. I personally think, though, like I said, well, actually, I don't know if I said it, but I was, messaging some fellow Packers fans saying, obviously hindsight's 2020. There was thoughts that Burks would have maybe even fell to 22 or 28 or even to the second round, believe it or not. 14 and 59 would have been pretty close value for pick 14 or 15. What did I say, 14? 22 and 59 would have been close value for pick 14 or 15. Could have got Treylon Burks or Christian Watson. I mean, it kind of depends on what you want to do as an offense, and I think Green Bay does absolutely want that deep burner. I think that's the problem. People are already talking like, they got a wide receiver, but they chose the wrong one. Pickens is better. The problem is Green Bay doesn't have a guy that can go vertical right now. Like, think about who is on the roster right now. It's not Lazard. It's not Sammy Watkins. It's obviously not Cobb. Amari Rodgers he looks slower than the pre-draft process, to be honest, at this rate, like a 4.6. I mean, who do you have? Jawan Winfrey? I don't even know if he's on the roster anymore at this rate. I mean, Green Bay does not have a burner, and now they do. And, of course, they have one with some tremendous size. So, I mean, you're getting a bit better of an MVS, it seems. The only issue I have is you don't have Devontae anymore to draw those double teams. So, it's going to be an interesting offense. They absolutely needed to make a play. They needed some athleticism. They needed some speed, and I think they did that perfectly here with Christian Watson. And now in the third round, they could double up and take another wide receiver. It's not really doubling up, if you will, because it's a long time from now. I don't know if I see Green Bay as a team that would trade into the future or use picks into the future. I do worry about the fact that, Green Bay's kind of looking a little rough on draft picks now after that. But like I said, I think there's just not a whole lot of players left that are like Watson. We've seen so many burners go in the early part of the first round that as far as being decently sized and speedy, there's a few left. They could have maybe waited for Pierce, but I think that's his name, right? I forget names all the time, but got a couple of picks in the fourth round. I honestly think best available pick is going to come into play again. They're not going to just force wide receiver, kind of like they did here. But if there is another decent receiver, they probably will jump the gun on that. I don't know if I see another trade up other than maybe in the fifth round or something like that. Green Bay definitely needs to add another lineman. Like I said, I don't think it's just strictly tackle like everyone thinks, because technically you look at the board and the roster, and Green Bay needs a tackle the most. But like I said, Elton Jenkins, a right tackle, is a possibility. Yaiman did well. The offensive line was pretty good considering the amount of injuries they had. So, I mean, other than depth, do you even as a Green Bay management, do you even see the line as that much of a weak point? I mean, I would say other than wide receiver, it's probably the weakest point, but it's a pretty good roster, and I just punched the keyboard out of excitement, obviously. I wish I could have got a better reaction, but goddamn Twitter, I hate it. But of course, honestly, that might be the last video of the night. Not only do we get a really good, physical freak wide receiver, but Green Bay might have also made me not have to record another video for tonight. Well, other than, probably Saturday videos. Probably have Nighthawks tomorrow. We obviously do have that third round pick, but it could be a boring pick. I'll be honest, if it's boring and it's just like a pick that doesn't matter, I probably won't I'm not going to upload on it if it's like a freaking guard or something, unless it's like some super steal. But at this point, you're probably not going to see that. So probably the last video of the day, unless, something crazy happens again. I'm obviously going to be paying attention to the draft. Just throwing that out there. Regardless, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think of the pick. Rodgers should be pretty happy. I wonder if, I don't know if he's on Pat McAfee again or if he's going to react to it, but be very interested to see what he thinks. And yeah, I mean, I would say straight out the gate, probably already his favorite wide receiver. I mean, Lazard's cool and all, but I mean, Watson actually has agility. Sorry, Lazard. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys come back for next video. Maybe leave a like, maybe subscribe for new. But until next video, also check out the Jets rebuild I did earlier today. See ya!